Let's go. We're live. Welcome back to Coleman Sports and the Shredhead for the first time in a long time that we have been live on the Shredhead. We're here to talk about the schedule release for the Salt Lake Shred and the entire UFA here on the Shredhead and Coleman Sports. If you guys haven't already, I'm Coleman. I'm your host. Please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Ring that notification bell as well so you don't miss another video or live stream, just content in general. So, yeah, we're going to do a video right after this going over the off-season moves throughout the entire league. We might make that on the live stream too. I'll see. But for now, it's going to be a video right after this. We're going to make the off-season news video. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun. And, yeah. Let's get straight to it. Who are the Shred playing this year? Find out in just a few moments here. Let's pull it up right now. Shred been practicing, tryouts and stuff. And they announced their schedule yesterday. Every team announced their schedule. We're going to go over the Shred first, then maybe over the West Division teams as well, and then maybe a couple other teams in the UFA as well. But schedule release day was technically yesterday, but we're going live to show y'all it today. So please subscribe and don't forget to dread the Shred. All right, let's get straight to it. Let me put dread the Shred. Yeah, here we go. Dread the Shred, baby. Let's get it. All right. We're going to look at the schedule first of all here. We're going to read some comments, see what the Shredhead's thoughts are on the schedule that came out yesterday. So, very interesting schedule, to say the least. What do you need? All right. Well, let's go straight to it. All right. So we start May 1st. The Shred at home, May 1st. You're at home behind that infectious crowd there at Zions Bank Stadium. Looking for a home dub to start this season against a team you've pretty much dominated since being in the league back in, 2022. I think this is like our 4th, 5th year in the league. Oregon. We play them a couple times this year, and some other West Division folks as well that we know really well. So it's going to be a fun year. Couple interdivision matchups as well that might get a little spicy as well. So, yeah. At home, May 1st, Oregon. Definitely a winnable game, I feel like, right there as well. But we'll talk more about the players that we're getting back. Some of the players we're getting back for this year that weren't playing last year because of injury. So a lot of players I feel like we're getting back and healthy and ready to go. So May 2nd, back-to-back. We have to head over to Oakland. That's going to be a hard stretch right there. You're at home against an Oregon team. That's why you got to take care of business. And then you have to go the next day on the road against Oakland. There's always a tough matchup for the Shred, but the Shred have never lost to them since coming in the UFA. It's a hard matchup, but Oakland has never beat us. So is it really a rivalry? No, not really. Not really much of a rivalry between the Shred and Oakland. Because rivalries, like, the other team actually has to win. But we just completely demolish Oakland every game. We don't demolish them. They keep it close, but they always choke at the end. Oakland always chokes to Salt Lake. We always make a couple plays at the end to win this game. And that's what we did in the West Division Championship last year against Oakland. We played them 3 times technically last year. And looks like we're going to play them. Let's see. We're going to play them 3 times this year as well. Interesting. Maybe even 4 if we meet up in the West Division Championship game as well. All right, May 9th, we get a week off. That's good to prepare for the new Colorado team, the Colorado Apex. I like the colors. They're cool colors. Purple, a lot better jerseys than their other ones, than their last team. But they did lose a guy we're going to talk about as well. That was like their main guy who really wasn't that scary, but he was their main player because they lost Jonathan Nethercutt, who like retired a couple years ago. This guy's been their main like handler and go-to guy, and he's off to New York. So Colorado is an interesting team, losing some pieces, keeping some pieces like Quinn Finer, but we'll talk about it more in the offseason stream after this stream. So stay tuned for that stream as well. Yeah, so a home game, 2 road games. Think having got a week off after those 2 games, back-to-back games to start the season. Then you get a couple weeks off here, not till May 30th. You're back at home, so you get a couple weeks off here to prepare for Oregon again. This is going to be tough for Oregon to win these 2 games in Zions Bank Stadium at home because you start the season, your fresh legs to start the season in Zions Bank Stadium, and then Shred get 2 weeks off to prepare for you again at Zions Bank Stadium. So those are 2 games the Shred got to win if they want to make it back to championship weekend and just back in the playoffs in general, because we saw what Seattle did a couple years ago. They made the playoffs. They made championship weekend, and then last year they didn't even make the playoffs. So the Shred cannot repeat what the Seattle Cascades did. So they got to win these home games against Oregon early in the season. And then not till June 5th, a couple days before my birthday, I have to go on a little birthday trip. But versus Colorado at home. Another game versus Colorado. It's going to be huge. This is going to be a really good game, I feel like, at home against Colorado. We always play, I don't know what it is, but we always play Colorado better on the road, in my opinion. And we kind of struggle against them at home. So we got to be locked in on Colorado for this June 5th game. What's up, Eric? Welcome in. Because the Apex, they got new ownership. They got a new team name. They're going to be ready to roll. And we got to be ready as well. So Shred got to be ready for that one. Then June 12th, about a week later, you play Oregon again. This one's on the road. I don't know why. We always dominate Oregon just every game. But we really dominate them in Oregon, too. So we just got to win these early games against Oregon in this schedule because 3 of the first 6 games are against Oregon, 2 at home. So that's going to be key for the Shred to take care of business against Oregon early in their schedule. June 12th or June 13th, right after that, we have to go from Oregon to Seattle. That's going to be a tough road trip there. Seattle's not going away, man. Just because they missed the playoffs one year, they're not going to go away. And this is going to be a tough game for the Shred on the road. A lot of tough games in the schedule. We don't have the easiest schedule in the league like we did last year, really. We had the 3rd easiest schedule. Now it's down to the 9th easiest. It's not the hardest, which is good, but it's also not the easiest. Welcome in. Oh, I don't remember this person. This person might just be subscribed to the Shredhead. I don't know. What's your name? I can't even pronounce that. Coleman Kenny. Okay, bro. Not in this channel, dude. Really? All right. Freaking Brady, bro. All right, let's get to it. 18th, about 5 days after the Seattle game, Madison on the 18th. That's going to be interesting. We've never played Madison before. This is an interdivision matchup here against the Madison Radicals in Madison. This is going to be a tough one. It's really windy there, and we got to be prepared there in Madison, Wisconsin to take down Madison. We played there in the championship the semifinals last year, so we know how it is to play in Madison. Yeah, Brady's in. Yeah, he's gone. Trolls are crazy. Yeah, Facts Hockey. 4 4493. Better not be another troll. But yeah. Madison's going to be tough on the road. And then literally the day after, this is the hard part of our schedule. This is the tough part. This is the toughest part of the Shred schedule right here. The next day, you have to go to Minnesota. Again, Shred have had Minnesota's number the last couple of years. They beat them in the semifinals back in 2023 when we lost in the championship game to New York. And then we beat them last year in a regular season game at home, I believe, as well. Yeah, I went to that game. I remember that. After they won the championship in 2024, we beat them in 2025 in Salt Lake. We defeated the defending champs. We're trying to defeat them again. They lost in the championship last year to Boston. They're going to be hungry. They wanted to win back-to-back championships, and they couldn't because Boston beat them. But they're going to be hungry. It's going to be tough coming off that Madison game as well. This is going to be a tough 2-game road trip for the Shred. Well, 4-game road trip, I guess. This is going to be really hard. This 4-game road trip is going to be the hardest part of our schedule. A lot of road games at the beginning of the schedule. A couple home games there against Oregon, which we got to take care of business because the road games are going to be tough. And then it's going to be great to end the year. Back at home for 3 more games to end the year. Starting June 27th versus Oakland. Again, another Oakland game that's going to be tough at home. And then just final stretch is going to be so hard. Seattle right after that on July 4th. Probably live stream that maybe during the 4th of July at the stream, maybe. We'll see. And then July 18th against Oakland again. So we're playing Oakland and Oregon a lot. They must really love losing to us because they put us on their schedule 3 times. Fun fact: we've never lost to Oregon. We never lost to Oakland. But we'll see if that changes this year since we play them each 3 times, which is crazy. But yeah, main takeaway from the schedule: you play Oakland twice, 3 times. You play Oregon 3 times. You play Colorado twice. You play Seattle twice. There's no Vegas. You don't get 2 easy wins against Vegas this year. You don't get 2 easy wins against the LA Aviators this year. Oregon isn't that bad, really. So it's gonna be tough. Plus, you get 2 interdivision games back to back on the road. Are you kidding me? This is a tough schedule. It's gonna be a tough schedule for the defending West champions, but I think we can make it back to championship weekend, and if we do, we're going to be scary out. We're going to be scary this year because of the players we're getting back, which right after this, we're going to talk about the players we're getting back in a separate stream, UFA off-season stream. We're going to be doing it right after this. We'll probably only make this about 30 minutes, and then we'll go do another 30 over there. But, yeah, that's going to be tough. I think UFA posted who has the hardest schedule and stuff. Let me get to that. I miss your appointment. Like 3:15. All right, let's get to UFA. UFA. I think they posted I think they posted who has the toughest schedule somewhere. Maybe not. Oh, here's full power rankings. You have to look at this. Power rankings for this year. All right, we got snubbed again. Actually, this doesn't even show the full power rankings. I might have to click on the link in their thing because it's just showing 1, 2, 5, 10. We're probably up there somewhere. We better be. Minnesota, Boston 1, Minnesota 2 is fine. Spiders 5, yeah. Full rankings available on your website. Of course they are. Well, we'll go to the website then. Share this instead. All right, let me find 22 team schedules are live. Yeah, we know that. Holy W website, man. They've changed a lot of things since last year, it looks like. Wow. I'm trying to find the power rankings. There's some good games early in the season before the Shred play because we don't play till May 1st. There's some games April 24th I might go live for, like DC Boston on the 25th of April, Soul Hustle as well on the 25th. Those are at the same. Actually, no, they're not at the same time. One's an hour before. So we'll probably go live for DC Boston. Um, there's some decent games here. Even Carolina San Diego Growlers on the 24th would be a good one to go live for as well. Potentially. So, yeah, let me find the power rankings. Where they at? Way too early power rankings. There we go. 2026, February 13th. Shout out Adam Ruffner, man. Doing some good things on the website, man. Shout out Adam Ruffner. The GOAT. But stop glazing Minnesota and freaking New York and start giving some the shred their flowers, you know? Like, come on. I forgot. We only have 22 teams this year. Didn't we lose 2 teams? It's crazy. We lost. Yeah, LA got kicked out of the league, and someone else. That's crazy. Vegas, new team last year. It's gonna be their second year. They're gonna try to take a step forward. They're in the South Division now, though. They're not in the West Division. They kind of changed up the divisions now, which is kind of weird. So I think they moved Vegas over there because LA left the South Division after 1 year. They're just completely out of the league. So yeah, Kenny never had a girlfriend. FX. I don't know why bro's trolling, but yeah. Neither have I. So like, why is bro saying like, bro? That guy's weird. All right, 22 Vegas. Yeah, Vegas deserves to be at the bottom. Of course, it was their first year last year. They were really bad. Did they even win a game? Maybe like 1 win last year, I think. So yeah, of course. No, they went 0-12. Never mind. So yeah, they they deserve to be last. Because it was their first year. I think they're going to take a huge step forward this year. They'll win a couple more games, hopefully. Shout out to Vegas Bighorns. W mascot, by the way, and W logo. I actually appreciate what they're doing there in Vegas. Shocker, because I don't like Vegas sports teams like the freaking Raiders and all that. So, yeah, shout out to Bighorns. And then Thunderbirds, they took a step back last year. They lost a couple of key players as well. So, what's his freaking name? Went to Minnesota. Max something. I forget his last name, but yeah, he went to Minnesota, Max, and yeah, they kind of fell off a cliff because they lost some players. So, used to Havoc, they're always like bottom tier team, but I feel like they have good players. Like they could definitely take a major step here in 2025, 2026. Well, 2026 actually. They could definitely take a big step here because I think they have a decent roster. They just never perform good. Like they perform down to competition, up to competition, and then they like lose at the end. Like I don't feel like they're like a horrible team. Like they have a good, decent roster. The Havoc. They can just never put a season together. So 2-10 last year. That's rough. But yeah, like their offense success rate wasn't that bad. It's better than Oregon. The problem is their defense is so bad. So Oregon's still at 19. Yeah. They're a little bit better than Havoc. They could take a step this year as well. We'll see. They're in a tough West Division, so that's unfortunate for them. Philly's interesting. They lost a couple players, and they kind of fell off a little bit. 6-6, right in the middle of the pack, with their record. Who was it that they lost to? The freaking Minnesota. They lost a guy to Minnesota. Now he's on the Alley Cats. I can't even remember. He signed with the Alley Cats. Let's see if I can scroll down and find it. Bro, Alec has got freaking better, man. Oh, we gotta talk. Yeah, freaking Thomas Edmonds. What the heck? Who is it that they lost to Alec? Somebody that they lost to the Alley Cats, I swear. Where is it? Yeah, they got Jake Felton. That's crazy. I want him, but oh yeah, James Pollard. James Pollard is now on the Alley Cats, who was on Philly before that, and then he went to Minnesota last year for 1 year. Now he's switching teams like crazy right now. I think he was at Minnesota for like his whole career. Then 2 years ago, it was his last year at Minnesota. Last year he switched over to Philly, or he actually was there at Philly for a couple years actually. No, he started. I'm tripping. He started at Philly, then he went to Minnesota last year. Now he's with Minnesota's divisional rival with the Alley Cats, which is really weird. But we'll see what the Alley Cats are cooking up. They're kind of cooking up low key. They got an underrated team over there in Indianapolis over there. So Toronto Rush, they're going to be better this year, I think, than most people think. They've gotten a lot of international talent to come over, and they're going to be better than people think. Like, I actually really like this. They had a 3-9 record, which is absolutely horrible. Like, they were worse than Houston even last year, in my opinion. And they're going to be better this year. That East Division is going to be the toughest division in the UFA next year. Again. So yeah, Rush will make some noise. I bet. I can literally see them getting 3 seed over like a team that's going downhill like DC. They're starting to go downhill a little bit. But yeah, we'll probably make a predictions video before the season. But yeah, Montreal Royale. Interesting that they're higher than the Rush, but I guess they got some talent. I didn't think they got as much as the Toronto Rush. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what happens with Montreal Royale. They're always mediocre every year, but they have some good players, and then they lose their good players, like Toby DeCron to Boston. Shout out to the MVP, but that's crazy that they just let Toby go like that. But yeah, they should have resigned him or something. But Madison Radicals at 15. This is a team like 15 is crazy, but like they always the last couple of years they've choked like every year. Madison has choked the last couple of years to Minnesota, and it's like I don't know where their team's at because they're gonna get 3 seed probably in the Central again, unless actually. Ooh. Is it time for hot takes already? Is Madison going to make the playoffs this year? Is Madison going to make the playoffs this year? Because you got Chicago, you got Minnesota, and you got the Alley Cats now creeping up. Ooh. Watch out, Madison, because that division's tough. There's going to be some key games for Madison late in their schedule where they got to win if they want to make the playoffs. Now that I'm thinking about it, because Alley Cats are looking stacked now. They might be back, folks, the Alley Cats. So, yeah, this is interesting now. I don't know if the Radicals are making the playoffs. We'll see. That's more to talk about in a different live stream. But, of course, 14 Chicago Union. That's crazy. They dropped all the way to 14. They had the best record in the UFA last year and choked in the Central Division Championship. Like, they had the best record in the regular season, but they showed they were frauds. They lost in the Central Division Championship. They weren't even like a top 8 team left in the playoffs. So that's crazy. Chicago really had the best record and are at 14. They went 12-0 last year, undefeated. And Adam Ruffner has them at 14 here. Let's see what he says. Central Division Champions. Yeah. They lost the Central Division to Minnesota. They got upset. And their strength of schedule last year was 15th. Minnesota. Okay. Oh, no notable additions. Okay. So they're saying that Minnesota added a couple guys, and they're saying they're going to be not as good as last year. Interesting. People are going to figure them out now that they lost to Minnesota. That's crazy. So Adam Ruffner, I don't know about that one, but too many departures. Oh, particularly throwers makes them vulnerable against defenses with depth. That's okay. Interesting. So they lost some throwers apparently. Don't they still have that guy that almost won MVP? If he didn't lose to Minnesota, he probably would have won MVP. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, 13 Apex. Even the Apex dropped down, I think. They were at 10 last year. To end the year, and they dropped all the way. They went dropped down 3 spots, which is fair. They lost some talent that we're gonna talk about in other episodes, but they couldn't find her, and they lost. I don't know how to say it. They lost Alex Atkins. He's going to New York. We'll talk about more of it in the off-season news video, but yeah, or stream. So that's crazy. Apex dropped all the way to 13. And they didn't make any additions, and I think they lost Noah Coolman. Oh yeah, they lost Noah Coolman too. Yeah, they lost some defense. So yeah, that's fair. Seattle's at 12. Yeah, Seattle didn't make the playoffs last year after winning the West Division, so they deserve to definitely drop down to 12 here. And they didn't really make a splash in free agency and go get anybody. So yeah, makes sense that they're at 12. They think they can keep their same team and win. We'll see what happens with Seattle. They could be an interesting team this year. Oh, gosh. 11, the Austin Soul. Yeah, that's fair. Once again, Austin. They're always a solid team every year. I think they went up in the power rankings. Yeah, they went up 1 spot. I think they got their playmaker back. Swiatek, yeah, they got Evan Swiatek back. And they got Fitzgerald back. So, yeah, Soul could be better this year for sure. 9-3, a little bit of a down year, but they're gonna be back and making some noise in that Central Division. And yeah, that's fair at 11. This is a good power rankings by Evan Lepper. Shout out Evan Lepper, man. He knows ball. At 10, you got the Alley Cats. Okay. Alley Cats were 21 last year because they were really bad. What was their record? Yeah, 4-8. They deserved to be at 21 last year with a 4-8 record, of course. They're all the way back up at 10. I like that. I like how Evan Lepper put them from 21 to 10, but not top 5 yet. But they could definitely make some noise in that Central Division and even win the Central Division. Just because of the offseason additions they got. They got James Pollard. They got Cameron Bach coming back, who leads the UFA in goals scored all time. Those 2 huge additions could help. Look at all these additions, man. Jeremiah Branson, they got back from the Salt Lake Shred. Cam Brock, they got back this year. He leads the league in goals all time. They got Carson Chamberlain coming back. Joe Cubit, Jake Felton, they got from the Mechanics, who got kicked out of the league. He's going to be a great player for them. Carter Hawkins, Elliot Hawkins, Nate Little, Isaiah Manson, Xavier Payne, James Pollard, Max. Bro, the Indiana Cats deserve to be at 10 here. They could even move up to top 5. Depends on how they perform. I like how Adam Ruffner puts them at 10 because they were at 21 last year and had a really bad record. I like how he only put them up 11 spots because they went crazy in the offseason, getting a lot of players back and getting some new players as well. I like that he put them at 10, but not too high because you got to see how they perform as well. You can't put them quite past 10 yet, but I like that for the Alley Cats. Carolina, last year was the first time they've never made the playoffs in their history. That was shocking. They had a down year, but they're going to be back ready to roll here. And they got Tobias Brooks back. I saw that. They got Tobias Brooks back. Yes, still the good players from Colorado, so that they suck. Yes, thank you for stealing Tobias Brooks. Shout out to Carolina, bringing Tobias Brooks back. Let's go. So, yeah. They got him back. They're going to be ready to go, man. They're going to be motivated because it's the first year in the history that they have not made the playoffs. So, yeah, Carolina's going to be ready because they're going to be more motivated after they didn't make the playoffs back in 2025, first time. They've never made the playoffs. So, New York at 8. What were they at last year? They're at 9. So, they go up a spot here. Let's see. They added Alex Atkins, so that makes sense. They add some defense with Alex Atkins. Once again, thank you for stealing him from Colorado. Shout out to New York and Carolina for stealing Colorado players, helping us out. Dread the shred, baby. Let's go. So, yeah, New York adds him. They got a decent schedule here, and, New York's been scary. They're always scary, so can't look past them. They're at number 8 in the power rankings. We better be higher than 7. That's all I gotta say. Ooh, hold up, let me cut. Ooh, San Diego Growlers 7 in the power rankings. Okay. Hot take here. San Diego Growlers are them. They nearly won that first round matchup against. No, they did win that first round matchup against Carolina, so that's why they're higher. Hot take here. I would put the Growlers over DC in the power rankings. Hot take. But I'd move DC back. I'd move DC to 7, Growlers to 6. Hot take, but I think Growlers got the better roster. DC's a little old, and they're starting to decline. They just lost Thomas Edmonds. Ron McDonald, isn't he leaving? So I think he's retiring. Yeah, DC's starting to lose some players, and I don't know if they have the experience that the Growlers do now that they're losing these players. So I would switch those two, which is a crazy hot take, but wow. We got some things to talk about here because these next 3 teams right here in the power rankings, 5 Oakland Spiders. Now, they deserve it. They deserve this loss. Or they deserve this at 5. They lost in the West Division to the Salt Lake Shred after choking the lead. They had like a 4-goal lead with like a minute or 2 left. And the Shred made some plays, and they were able to call back and steal that West Division title from them ahead of championship weekend for the third time, I think, in their existence. So, very interesting thing here that they're at 5. Yeah, Atlanta Hustle are better. They have the better roster. Atlanta, another team starting to decline. A lot of old talent. We'll see what they do this year. They always choke in the Central Division Championship. They've never made it to championship weekend until last year when they finally got over that hump, made it to championship weekend. Of course, they lost in the semifinals. But, yeah. Yeah, they lost to Minnesota in the semis. But, yeah, they're going to be back. They're going to be ready to go. No notable additions for Atlanta, so we'll see where they're at. But I like that they're at 4. You could argue switching them in Oakland. You could argue that just because Atlanta's starting to get older. Spiders are starting to get younger and getting some players back. Did they get, let's see here, no additions for Oakland either? Okay. Well, yeah. So Atlanta at 4, Salt Lake at 3. Okay. That's fair. Salt Lake at 3 is really fair. Third best team in the league. We just got to get over the hump this year. We're getting some players back, and I think we can get over the hump. Last year, we made semifinals, and we lost. We had a bunch of rookies on that team and we were missing some really good talent that we will be talking about in this upcoming stream. But we are missing a lot of talent. We're getting back the talent that we had last year. Plus, we're getting these young guys back. We're gonna be a deep team this year, and 3 is definitely fair. I think we could even win the champion. We could win the championship this year, no glaze. But we literally could if Tony takes that next step and can guard Jeff Babbitt, man. Like, ooh yeah, we'll be good. I think we can win the championship this year. Our team's going to be deeper, and we hung with the champions for a little bit of that game, and then we choked. We showed our youth, but we're getting these experienced guys back with the youth. It's going to be a nice mix to get some of these experienced guys that got injured previous years to get them back. And yeah, Shred at 3. That's fair. And then Minnesota and Boston 2-1. Not shocked. Minnesota losing the championship game to Boston. Boston's insane, man. Their defense is number 1 in the league. That's the reason why they won the championship, and their offense ain't that bad either. Jeez. But yeah, that's crazy. 51. They score 51% of the time. That's insane. Oh wait, their offense is 6th actually. Shred actually have a better offense, number 2. If the Shred can get their defense up, man, because look, Minnesota. Look at the 2 top teams. Minnesota, 2nd best defense of break rate, technically. 7th for Glory. So we actually have a better offense and defense than Glory. That's crazy. We just gotta play better, I guess, in championship weekend. Pretty much, we probably fall off in championship weekend a little bit, but yeah, this is gonna be a tough schedule for the Shred. But yeah, 2 Minnesota, of course, they lost in the championship game to Boston the year prior. They won the championship for the first time in their history. They deserve 2 as well. They got Nathan De Morgan over from Salt Lake, which is an interesting move. I didn't think that was going to happen. And then Boston Glory, your defending champs, wins the UFA for their first time as well. The last 2 years have been a different championship, a different champion. So, according to my calculations, 2 years ago, Minnesota won their first championship. Last year, Boston won their first championship. So, it's our year, right? It's our year. It's the Shred's year. We're winning the championship, boys. Let's go do it. But yeah, there's some power rankings. Now let's get back to some schedules here. We already went off the UFA schedule, or the Shred schedule. Here's a cool little thing with Will Selfridge on it. UFA respecting Will Selfridge, put him on the cover there of the schedule thing. So, yeah. Key dates. Opening day is April 24th. Yeah, we gotta look at this. Key day, opening 24th. That's the first games. There's some good games the 24th and the 25th. Like I said, Growlers and Carolina will probably go live for that. And then, of course, Boston Glory and DC Breeze on the 25th. So those are 2 games that I might go back live back-to-back on the 24th, 25th of April because the Shred don't play till May 1st. So, yeah. Final week of regular season, of course, July 17th through 19th. Playoffs first round, 24th through 26th. For the first round, division championships are at August 7th through 9th. And then championship weekend, the 28th and 29th of August. I'm pretty sure it's in Madison, Wisconsin this year. So, yeah. Again, I think it was there last year, wasn't it? So, back-to-back years. Interesting. But it is the Madison is the, head of the UFA. But let's see what people are saying. Losing Detroit has really rattled some numbers in the Central. Yeah, okay. They sucked, but shout out to Detroit Mechanics, UFA legends. But yeah, that was a rough franchise, man. They're out of here for a good reason. Okay, schedule breakdown release live stream. I already watched this. This is good to see. I wish they had more players in here. Like they just had Toby DeCrona. Like we couldn't have gotten a Shred player in there, or like Bryce Merrill, who won Coach of the Year. we just want to put the MVP in there. Not where's the coach of the year? Like, but it's whatever. It was a good stream. I watched that. Strength of schedule. This is, yeah. Here's the strength of schedule. Top hardest schedules for this year is Indy at 1, Minnesota at 2, Oakland at 3. Oakland tied for 2. Masters and Radicals at 4. Oregon at 5. So Oregon has a tough schedule. So we got to take care of Oregon those 3 games early in the season, and Shred will be set up for hopefully another deep run. Maybe even a championship run. Let's see what else they got here. Strength of schedule, lowest opponent win percentage. These are the easiest schedules. Austin Soul, easiest schedule. Toronto Trust 2, Growlers 3. Okay, nobody in the West Division, so that's good as well for the Shred. So just a bunch of Central Divisions pretty much, and looks like an East in there as well. Central Division is going to be tough this year. Holy crap. But, yeah, we'll go over off-season news in just a little bit. But, yeah, that's the schedule breakdown for the entire UFA. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to dread the Shred. It's been your favorite Ginger, and I'm out. Peace. We're going live for off-season editions right after my eye appointment, because I just realized it's too freaking late. We'll go live for off-season editions later after my eye appointment. But thanks for watching. It's been your favorite Junior. I'm out. Shred the Shred. Peace, y'all. Y'all have a good day.